Welcome back, everybody. This is your boy Berkio and my beautiful bride Brianna. We are so glad to be back in front of you guys, talking about relationships this series, and we're just ecstatic to hopefully help you into having a better relationship and have some good nuggets as always.
Absolutely, we are so excited for episode 2, and we last week kind of talked about our journey so far. Well, actually, just the dating part. We didn't really get into the marriage part yet, and really the relationship part. But we'll get there as we're talking through this series. You'll hear little nuggets and everything about us, but we're really excited about this, and we want to connect with you guys. So if you have little nuggets about your relationship or stories that you want to add in about whatever we're talking about, you're like, hey, that reminds me of this, drop it in the comments. We want to connect with you guys and everything. We love to read the comments. We love to see all the shares and everything. It just makes my heart all warm and fuzzy inside.
Because again, we want to be as close and relational as we can be. You know? And then I think as well as real as we can be, and authentic. I know the authenticity is kind of like a diminishing quality in today's time, but I always want to be as real as I can, and that's kind of why I've been very much so. And here's the word "very" again. Gosh darn it.
We'll see. Somebody count how many times he says "very."
We gotta get a "very" counter at the bottom.
Put it in the chat.
But that's honestly, I think it's been cathartic, I think is the word for me, to do these things. And to be, transparent and talk about it, because again, I don't ever want people to think that I have it all together. I think as kids, when we were younger, we always felt like, oh man, our parents have it all together. And you get older, you realize, they ain't know what they was doing, man. They was winging it like I'm winging it right now.
Yep. I'll say this, and I mentioned it in my book. Shout out to my book, if you haven't got it already, In the Midst of It All, on Amazon.
Yep, it was
Look
really
it
good.
up. But in one of the parts I was talking about motherhood, and I remember I mentioned about my mom, and I was like, I always thought my mom had everything together. My parents had everything together. And now as a parent, I'm like, I have these overstimulated moments, or these moments where I'm just like, oh my gosh, and I realize oh, that's what that was when my mom lashed out at us for putting, a spoon in the sink after she did the dishes. It wasn't about the spoon.
It wasn't about the spoon.
It was just the overstimulation of everything else, and that spoon just took it over the edge.
That is a great segue into what this week's title is called. It's called Do I Like You? Now, we know that parents like their kids, okay, we get that. But there are times when you get in that relationship that people do small things to you. Or not to you, sorry. They do small things that just bothers you.
Okay, right? I see where you're going. Because I was like, segue.
You know what I'm saying? It bothers you, and you're like, you get to a point in your head, you're like, do I even like them?
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even have to put up with this. Like, I can go do something else. But, again, I think I've said it before. If I haven't, I'm going to say it now, is that to have those longevity moments in marriage, in relationships, there's going to be times when you don't love somebody.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to do something to really tick you off, and you're like, man, right now,
it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And again, we like to have kind of points.
Yeah. And
this one, it's very kind of eye-opening. And we have some scriptures to go with it.
But babe, before I get in this, I gotta ask my question.
I'm gonna open up the question.
Yeah.
Okay. A little different.
Yeah. Okay. So question for this week, and y'all, I actually asked him this week. I was like, "Do you want another question beforehand, or do you want me to just ask it on the jump?" And he's like, "No, I like it. I like it on the jump."
It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me on my toes. I like that.
So the question is, when we were dating, we're thinking about when we're dating. We're
still dating, but yeah.
Well, before we got married.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay.
When I was still in my maiden name.
Okay.
What was a quality that made you like me? Not love, but a quality that made you like me.
It was just the peace that you gave me.
Ooh, come on, you didn't have to think about it.
Nah, I didn't, because I was in a very rocky place, right? And just like mentally, you as a man, fellas, come on now, let's be real here, okay? We like to be honest, open, and transparent, you feel, and then the world tells you, you can't be transparent with your girl. You can't let your feelings, you gotta control yourself as a man. And granted, we aren't able to truly cry, right? When you was a little boy, you start crying, they told you to stop crying, boys don't cry, right? And we heard it all throughout our lives. Hey, men don't cry, men don't cry, men don't cry. Well, I got proof. I got Bible, as we say. I got Bible that actually in Lamentations, I had to read Lamentations before I got married. I read Lamentations because, again, I wanted to be a person that was able to tap into my emotions. And if you talk to my family, like, oh, Travis was always a sensitive one. But when it came to dating, I never really wanted to show that side. Yeah. Right? My wife, she also told me not too long ago, she was like, babe, that's okay. You had emotional intelligence before you actually knew what that was. And I was like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't think about it like in that sense. One thing I always said to God I'd be angry with him. I was like, God, why did you give me such a big heart? Like I used to be so upset. That is
so crazy that I used to be complaining about having a big heart.
Because it always, I'm a black boy. I'm a black boy, right? Yeah. And we're always, I hate the media, okay? I will say it. I hate media because they always portray black men, black boys as dangerous and this, that, and it's every race, every creed, color, race in the world is a dangerous type of people. But they always perpetuate that we are the most dangerous, right? We're the most like violent. Mm-hmm. And so, you see that. You don't see many black boys crying. So it bothered me as a kid. And kind of as an adult as well, because I didn't cry in college. You know what I'm saying? It just was what it was. But when I got with you, and once you know the time, I just let go, and I felt safe, right? And it's good for men to feel safe in the relationship. You also both parties have to feel safe to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
What about you? What, let me know, because I don't know if you ever told me.
Well, I'm gonna say. Gosh, there was a lot of things that made me like you.
Okay, all right, I got you.
But I will say, you like the friendship that we created made me comfortable in my own skin. Okay. Like, it's hard to put into words without me getting all emotional because I am a crier. I know. So I'm trying to keep it together. But so in other relationships, situationships, whatever you want to call them beforehand, I either held back parts of me because I'm an introvert and I'm a little dorky, quirky.
They call it an ambivert nowadays, where you're a little bit mixture between.
Yeah. All the things. And I still, last night I was watching Cheetah Girls too. I'm 33 years old. And I
took you back to when you was 15.
Me and Robin was in there jigging. You gotta strive like you mean it. Anyways, so there was times where I didn't feel like I could be my whole self. They saw because I used to model a little bit. They saw the model Brie or the trophy wife type. So I could show parts of myself, or the dancer part of me, parts of myself, but I could never be fully myself. Or I would show my strengths, and it was almost like a competition with that person, and it was why are you trying to one up me? It's not That's even crazy. That. That's crazy. And so with you, it was I was able to open up easily about stuff. We would talk, we would be goofy about stuff, but then we would have talks about other things, spiritual things or whatever, and it was you heard me for me, and it wasn't oh, this is too much, or I got a one-upper. It was never, it's never been that with you. And so that was one thing that I was okay, I really like this, because even if we never would have worked out romantically, I've never felt like I couldn't talk to you about stuff. So that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that, baby. But I'm not gonna stand too much on that, but guys, we gotta do better. Come on, man. That's crazy. I hope there's not a lot of guys out there that still do that.
Competing?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. One guy, we were actually leading a Bible study together for kids, And I just happened to know some stuff that we were talking about a little bit more than he did, I guess he felt like. And he was like, we was playing a one-on-one basketball game.
I feel like the good book says something about being humble. The humble will be exalted. That's
so much.
Or something like that,
Yeah, and I was like, after that, I was like, nah, bruh. Not about Jesus. Like, chill.
Right. We're going to argue about who know God best. Like,
right.
We in two different paths. And that was one thing that I think that I really also enjoyed is you were a lot further spiritually than I was. That was another thing that I enjoyed because I got to learn from you. And so that for me also was like, man, I get to, like, of course, I love God, I love Jesus, and I'm just like, I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I could take off a little bit to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a learner. Like, I like to learn from anybody. And I don't care who it is. It could be the CEO to the janitor. I just want to learn from somebody so I can then apply it to myself and in my own way, right? Yeah. Because I think that's just how life, and that's what these talks are about, is I hope that we can give somebody something that they can just apply to themselves,
right,
to make themselves better.
Right.
But the scriptures we have two scriptures, and we kind of bounce between doing one or two. But this one is, again, do I like you? And we wanted to kind of give some examples in the Bible where you can start to get into that relationship where you can kind of make one another not like you in a sense, right? First one is out of Colossians. It says, husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter toward them. Just wait for me there. We'll break that one down. And the second one is out of Proverbs. It is Proverbs 21:9. It says, better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. And right then and there, both of those verses makes people not like one another, right? If you are a man and you're a woman, you start to become bitter towards them. That right there, I've been there, right? I started to dislike that person. I was like, I don't like you. Like, there's nothing about you that I like you. I was bitter towards this person, and I was like, man. But you've been in a relationship for so long that you kind of just stay there because it's that love.
Yeah.
Which the first point is sometimes love doesn't always get you through.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, that could even be with any type of relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, you can love somebody, even familial, you could love somebody, but then be like, I really don't like this person. And I know for me, like, once if I love you, I love you. It is what it is. But once I don't like you, or you've gotten to this point for me, it's very hard to U-turn. Yeah. I'm still working on that, but it's just hard to, like, to readjust unless there's real like change in the relationship.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, for
sure. But if there's no effort on both sides, like, I'm like,
yeah. No, that's fair because it says husbands, love your wives, obviously, but it also is just talking to people. Don't be bitter towards people, because once you become bitter towards somebody or contentious to somebody, it's going to start being like, why do I even hang out with you?
Yeah, it's sour in your mouth.
It's like, sour. It's turned sour. Yeah, and what that does, it just brings resentment as well. Because everything, I think everybody can agree to this. Like, I could drop a pencil. Right? He's like, ugh, why you drop that pencil? Everything that I do just bothers you now. And to be in a relationship like that is not healthy for anybody. And I think where we're at in life, again, the word is played out, but the toxicity of relationships is still prevalent today. It's almost kind of like a one-up, like you referred to earlier in relationships. And it makes people very self-conscious to want to kind of step out there.
Yeah, because people aren't focused on qualities anymore. Like, it's all about, the things that you can get. Mm-hmm. It's not about the actual person anymore. Now, this isn't for everybody. This isn't talking about everybody, but it's really important in dating, and then even after dating, if you get in a serious relationship or even marriage, like, still remembering those times where it's just like, I really like this person. Not about the deep, hopeless, romantic, all that stuff, but just the basic, I like this person. Like, for example, like, we haven't been beefing or anything, but, you know, having a newborn that sometimes sleeps, sometimes doesn't.
Right.
You're tired, all those type of things. Like, yesterday I was just, like, not in a good mood. He didn't do anything. Kids didn't do anything. I just was not in a good mood.
Yeah.
And all I said was, I'm sad. Like, I don't know. And he could have easily been like, oh, you know, and I didn't need him to console me in a, like, loving way or anything. Like, I didn't know what I needed.
Yeah.
But all he did was come lay across the bed and be like, so what do you want to talk about? And that's what you do with a friend. You know, you sit there and you talk about whatever, and we just talked for like 30 minutes. And that's what I needed. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. Ate my sandwich and went on to bed.
Yeah.
But it's just like, had we not had the friendship that we
developed
and keep you know, making sure it flourishes along with the love part, I don't think we would be able to get through life the way that we get through life.
Yeah, and there's a saying I heard, it's not too long ago, it was a while back, you know. But it said, you know, most people look who they can spend their Friday nights with. Look for the person that you can spend your Saturday nights with, right? Because I like you if I'm staying in on a Saturday night. Like, Saturday night is like, I feel like the night that everybody like wants to go out in your youth, right? Mm. And hell, really right now, to be honest, people want to go out now, like, oh, let's go out to the club or whatever club is overplayed. But, you know, people
or
just...
brunch.
Or brunch.
My big age is brunch.
Yeah. But, you know, have somebody that I want to go on brunch with. I want to go with them, right? And I'm fine with just going with them. But the Holy Spirit just told me to, like, what does contentious mean? And I am also a person that loves words, and I look up words and what they mean. But, you know, that's what sometimes I think the Bible kind of makes people scared, because like, I don't know what this word means. Yeah. Like, there's really no excuse for that in 2025. I just went to Google and put the word in. Contentious is causing or likely to cause an argument. This person is like, they don't like you. Gaslighting. I mean, that's what this contentious woman is. Involving heated arguments, right? Of a person given to arguing or provoking argument. Right? If I'm always provoking the argument, like, I really don't like it.
Why would you want to be around somebody?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get to a point.
Time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to a point where I don't like you. You're just trying to argue for no reason, right? Like, oh my God, you know, like going back to mom, right? She left the spoon in the sink, and you want to start an argument over that? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it happens, and so that's something that I think once it gets to a point in the relationship, to that point, there needs to be some adjustments. There needs to be, there has to be some honest, hard conversations. I can't feel like I'm walking on eggshells. It has to be a point of emphasis to have these talks. And if these talks, once you have them and answers aren't getting met, then you should know what you're going to do, right? I wouldn't want to be, and trust me, I have been, and I'm sure anybody's listening, they've stayed somewhere that they probably shouldn't have stayed a little too long.
Yeah.
And that's not her, by the way. We was talking about that last night, just cracking up, making jokes. She cut them off quick back in the day.
Oh yeah, my granny would be when she met Travis, she was like, "Oh, he must be a keeper," because by the time I start learning names, I ask about them, and she'd be like, "Oh, they gone," and so she stopped learning names for people because I was like, "For what? What like?" Why keep something going when you know that it's not going the right way just because you want a companion? Like, if it's not aligning.
Yeah. There's some part.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, I was never one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was never one that was like, I guess, a hopeless romantic in a sense. But like, I love Disney movies and all that stuff, but it was I was realistic after my first relationship. Like, I'm not gonna stay just because I'm like, oh, I think I might love this person. No. I really was focused on the liking. Like, do I like this person as an individual. Are they a good person? I was. I was like, are they a good person? Do we align? Does this make sense? No? Okay. You have a nice life.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think parents really teach kids how to have relationships. Because, dad's just like, well, my daughter's not dating until she's 29, right? She's probably going to go and date, right? I am the father of 2 girls, and this is some things that I am going to have to think about, right? And I've already thought about them. I think every guy thinks about these questions, like, oh, what am I going to tell my daughter if I have a daughter? If I have a daughter, what would I tell her about guys and this, that, and the other? And so the biggest thing for me is I knew from the jump, I was like, if I have girls, and I've had kids, period, really, I'm going to be point blank honest. And that's just who I am. Once I'm really comfortable with you, right, I'm going to be point blank honest. Now, vice versa, if you've seen our other podcast, I was very honest with her, very upfront. I was like, hey, if you're not into this to get married, then I don't really want to get into a relationship.
Oh, I like it.
And it wasn't, if it's for them, great.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's not and they leave, also great, right? You know that you just dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Because if you want to get into this thing called marriage, it is fun. It is a roller coaster. Not in a bad way roller coaster, like it could be, right? If you haven't developed that friendship. Babe, what is the importance of friendship kind of to you in the relationship?
Gosh, friendship is like the foundation of a relationship.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, without it, you go through seasons in life and in relationships where it's going to be hard, and it's like you want to stay because you love a person, but when you add the liking into it, it makes it so much easier to like get through things.
Yeah.
Like, I'll share a little bit of our story. So there was, early on in our relationship, there was a time where we both were without jobs for it was a whole thing. Layoffs and all those things. And we were very fresh dating, and so it was like we weren't even really at the full stage of even knowing if we loved each other yet. Like it was really new. But because we had already we had built a friendship and we enjoyed being around each other, like it from the outside in, people did not know or would not know that we were going through as much as we were. Like when I tell you guys that we were sharing groceries, we lived separately, but we were sharing groceries because we did not have the money to get stuff.
Struggle.
But we were enjoying life together, and people had no idea. That was from friendship. That wasn't. Yeah. Yes, our love stemmed from it, but I don't think you can really have a pure love without liking the person. Like I feel like that's like part of it.
And again, like I said, I know my mom didn't. Not throwing her the bus, but I know I didn't get talked about in my youth about liking a person before you're like dating them and talking about things to look for in a person. I don't think I did
either, but I think it was more because I just didn't want to have the conversation. So
well, sure, like, and it's gonna be an awkward conversation with your children. I get that, but at the same point in time, it's like, what are you there for to be a parent for? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's to me, like I tell my son all the time, like we're parents to teach you things that you don't know, and you're not gonna know a lot of things. So if I'm not teaching you, the world's going to teach you. And I much rather you learn it from me than from the world.
Yeah.
Because from the world, it's going to come skewed. It's going to come a little janky. It's going to come messed up. But, at 7, I'm teaching them true history, right? At 7, we're teaching them, again, he talked about, doing notes or writing stories in school. Well, he started it at our dinner table. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, again, we prepared the way for him, just kind of like what God does. God's prepared the way for us. Yeah. And if we follow that path, if we stay on it, then we can find the person that's truly for us. And the little one woke up.
She is hot. Okay, you got it. You have to get her.
Okay.
I got a thought. That's why I
said get your thought out, girl.
But I was just going to say, like, when I said that, you know, you can't love someone without liking them, it's just a natural progression. You know, some people try to say, like, oh, I love this person, but I don't, you know, I can't stand them or anything, but I love them. And it's like, you can't really, like, have both. You have to have both because, sorry, I lost my train of thought because she, like, lost it. Oh, my goodness. I'm sure y'all could hear her because that was, y'all, she doesn't even cry like this. She was like, come get me out this swing. But I think that it's, like I said, a natural progression, and you have to be able to build it before you get to love, if you want pure love. A lot of people don't understand what comes with love, or what really love is. Like, we use it so loosely. I love this celebrity, or I love these shoes, or I love this show, but you're really not using the word the way that it should be used. You know, love is something that should be unconditional, and in order for it to be unconditional, that means even in those hard moments. And how do you get through those hard moments? You have to like that person. You have to build something that's strong enough to withstand the storms of life and everything. And I feel like that's why you have to like the person in order for it to be actual love. I don't think you can love somebody and not like them. That's not love to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I learned the hard way. Yeah. But no, you know, that's a very key point about what you said, agape, and it's unconditional love. Yeah, and that's something, okay. That's something that, for me, moving into the direction that I was moving in, that's what I knew that I needed to have a relationship that I think showed the kingdom. Like, I wanted a kingdom love. I wanted a love that was going to persevere through all the things, right? The good and the bad. And the bad, you know, definitely isn't something that anybody wants to go through. But we're born through affliction. Yeah. And, you know, we have to go through hard things to really get the treasure, whatever treasure that is. Right. You know, you have to go through it. And so that's something that I enjoy. And the last point is, if it starts to become sour, we kind of hinted on it earlier. Like, why would you stay? Like, if it starts to become sour, then it's probably something you should let go. Like, nobody likes eating sour grapes. Nobody likes eating, some people do like eating sour lemons and limes and stuff like that. But if it gets too sour, if fruit starts to get sour, you throw it out. You throw it away. And that's the same thing that can happen in relationships. And it's, if it gets to that point, because you didn't start the foundation of your relationship on friendship, and kind of knowing what unconditional love looks like for you. And it's not like, oh, let me go out here and talk to this girl, talk to that girl, and still come back. That ain't unconditional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to love me for me. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about a person that, if you do get down in your luck, are they going to still stay there with you? That's that unconditional love, right? That's that love that, you know, is going to stand through the test of fire.
Yeah. I say, too, it's also like somebody that you wouldn't mind being stuck with. Like, I think 2020 taught a lot of people about liking one another, then they didn't realize it, because there was so many marriages and relationships that ended and they thought they loved each other, but then when they got stuck in the house with each other, it was like, I really can't stand this person. Yeah.
Can you stand it? Right?
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, my mom has said it multiple times, like, when she comes to the house, because she lives in a different state, so she'll, like, stay for the weekend or whatever, and she's always like, I watch you guys when you don't even realize that I'm watching you, and not in, like, a judgy way, but she's just like, I love watching you guys because you guys genuinely like each other. And I laugh, but she's like, no, like people really don't like each other, and like you guys will literally be laughing, and I have no idea what you're laughing about, but it's like y'all have these inside jokes or whatever, and you guys just enjoy each other's company, and even if you're just sitting on the couch watching WWE or something, you know, like she was just like, I love, like it's beautiful to look at, and I'm like, oh
yeah. You know, the biggest thing to me, the transition was my sister. She was like, I remember going through your house, the last house. It was like going through like a thick smoke. Like it was just like you could feel the tension inside the house, right? And I was like, dang, like for real. She's like, bruh, like you could feel it. And then when we got together, and they would come up to the city and come over and stuff like, she was like, man, it's like airy up in here. You know, it's like a different energy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was like, for real? She's like, boy, it's like light up in this house. It's like it ain't a lot of tent. You can feel like the love and the enjoyment. And I was like, man, that's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate that because I really like her. Like she's like a genuine, funny person and just a person that like we can just like you just said, we can laugh about nothing. Like, kid you not, rib busting laughter. And so
about nothing, about being quiet so we don't wake the kids up and be cracking up.
That's the funniest time too. But I really enjoy the friendship that we have and the growth that we've had over the last several years because it's something I think again shows that agape love, shows the kingdom love, and
shows the what love?
Agape.
Agape. Y'all, you know he always has one word.
I always have one word.
Blunter.
Agape.
Agape.
Agape. I want money. I guess that's what a guap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Agape. Agape. Like
you good, baby. That's what I'm here for.
You know, and that's the point. Because we gonna rag each other. Like that's the fun thing about it too. And
be like, say it again.
Agape. But no, for real though, I hope through all this nonsense with the loudness, it's not nonsense. I love it. It's being a parent at 11.
A home being a home
at night.
Right, both of them up. Go to bed. Somebody send us tips. How to get your toddler to go to bed on time. That'd be nice.
Man.
Send help.
But that's our time for the night. We greatly appreciate you guys checking out. Like my wife said, please share, subscribe, and get the message out. You know, just hopefully this helps you, and hopefully this is something that is able to further your relationship and have things that you think about so that you can have the better relationship going into this year.
And I want to add too, like if there's something about relationships that you guys want us to like touch on as we go through this, drop it in the comments because I'm curious. You know, we want to make sure that you know what we're talking about aligns with God, but also aligns with what you guys are needing. You know, some other thoughts and people to bounce things off of. So we're here for you guys.
Peace.